Oh boy, it almost burned me up. Oh my leg. Look at the pictures. Busted. Dude, why is my nose so red? It's cold, but like, I'm over it. It looks like I'm wearing a straight up disguise, the Halloween disguise. Ugh. Bro, check out my chair I got. Bro, about to do Max Works. Got that thing on Amazon for like 35 bucks. But I gotta tell you, number one purchase that I've made in a long time is this light. Go, boy. Straight up. Swivels, folds.
Check this out. Folds.
All three of them are like independently controlled. Oh, look at that. It's like looking into the sun. And what's good about it is like right here. Right here, you can like take this whole piece off, and if you wanted to put it like underneath the car and turn these up, it'll work. It was like 60 bucks. Dude, thing is super legit. What? We're about to be a surgeon with this. Maybe that's good for my nose to just be like pure white light. Maybe that's what I need. Okay, so like 3 years ago, I needed a pressure washer to pressure wash my kid's school. Didn't have one. My mom was like, hey, why don't you come get ours? Thing runs like a champ, turns over on the first pull, and went and got it, sure enough, turned over on the first pull, but it was leaking from like multiple places on the like gun part. So at that point in my life, I said, hey, look, I don't have time for this. Cranked on it for 20 minutes, and then I went and bought another one. So this thing has sat largely untouched in this garage for like 3 years until I've gotten this idea that I want to rebuild my grandfather's old Corvette. And it's a daunting task, but I said, hey, before I go and like do irreparable damage to this car, why don't I try my hand in doing a small engine? So the goal here, and I've done a lot of stuff to this, I'm gonna take it apart, show you what I've done, I guess thus far, put the whole thing back together, put a little oil in it, put a little gas in it, and fingers crossed, I'm gonna pull this thing and it's gonna not explode. If it does, either way, it's gonna be on camera. If I can pull this off, I'm going straight to the car. So cheers. I'm gonna put on the little chest camera and then we're gonna get started. Let's go, boy. Turn this fire pit on, boy. It's cold. Dude, shout out to having an illustrated propane tank. Oh, shit. Go, boy, it almost burned me up. Alright, cool. Boy, I sure hope that doesn't like, I don't know about this. This might not be a good idea. I don't know. I'm gonna turn it off. I'm gonna turn it off unless I get super cold. Okay, so before we even get started, I'm gonna show you some pictures of what it looked like before I started working on it. So this is the Flywheel absolute rust bucket, bruh. The like ignition coil right here, junk, and it's all covered in like granules. I don't know if it's like oil or gas or dirt or what, but like it's just gross. That's and I'll talk to you about the harmonic balancer puller later, but this is just like an overall view of just how busted this thing was. Like that's the whole block separated from the pump, which I'll talk to you about that in a little bit. I only show you all this stuff to just say that this is the condition that it was in when I got it. And you know what's funny is like my mom, when I told her that I was gonna start fixing this, she's like, what do you mean you're fixing it? There was nothing wrong with it when I gave it to you. And I'm like, look at the pictures. Busted. We have the cover off this thing, and I'm gonna walk you through step by step, I guess, what I've done. Okay, so on top there's the flywheel cup, flywheel bolt, and then the flywheel is underneath this like fan thing. As far as like loosening this nut, I got one of those like flywheel holders. It doesn't even fit in this like ring around here in the like guard. So the best way to do it, and I'm sure whoever did this before me, is to find there's like a hole in the bottom of the flywheel guard, and then you just jam the most valuable tool that I have, which is the big giant flathead, shout out Cobalt, to just wedge it into this hole, and then you can get the leverage to actually remove this thing. The bolt itself on this motor is a 15, bruh. Dude, Milwaukee pack out absolutely flawless. First of all, every other tool company is inferior to Milwaukee. I know people are like super passionate about one or the other, but the cold hard truth of it is that like if you don't have Milwaukee stuff, I feel bad for you. And my goal is to have all of them. I'm about to have everything Milwaukee. Okay, so I need an extension, and that bolt is the 15/16. I need a little more leverage. There we go. Oh, my leg. All right. Okay, so there's the bolt, there's a spacer in here, and then the cup itself. Bro, y'all ready for this reveal? So, you remember the rust bucket flywheel that it was? Well, I'm about to show y'all what I used. Another one of the best purchases I ever made. So, Ryobi makes these like wire brushes that go on the drill, and I literally just took the flywheel out of here, and I'm gonna show you how I pulled it out, but I just kneeled down on it and just grinded all the rust off with these things, and then I soaked it in Evaporust. I'm not gonna lie, I don't even know how I was doing the thing, but it's unbelievable. It's so cool that I really just want to like rust stuff up so that way I can like soak more things in Evaporust. Bro, y'all ready for this reveal? Watch. Bruh. Brand new. Crazy. I've never seen something look so good in my whole life. So when you're at this point, this one will slide out pretty easy because it's been clean, but what you would have to do, and honestly I might have to do it even just to pull this thing off because it's already been torqued down, is put this harmonic balancer puller. Got this thing at AutoZone for like 23 bucks and they rent them, and I asked the guy how much would it cost to rent it, and he was like $20, and I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna buy the thing for $23. What you'll have to do is this hole and this hole will thread these two bolts onto it. So let's see. You need big swole at the top. I just threaded these all the way till they got tight. And this piece is gonna go on like this. Wonder what that is. 3/4. Oh, it's just the one crank, I guess. It's loose. Well, what you would do is it would, like when I originally took it off, I cranked it 2 times pretty hard and it went pop and it just popped off. But this one is like already done. Okay, so once the flywheel's loose and you can remove it, you'll see that there's like on the crankshaft, there's these little keys. And that's what keeps it in time, I think. I shall hope it is, because that's what the internet said. There's a key for the top part where the flywheel is, and there's also a key underneath where the actual pump is. So underneath, this is the flywheel guard. These are all 5/16 bolts, but when I removed this piece, this little triangle part actually had a seal around it. That's where the breather reed is for like crankshaft ventilation. So when I pulled this off, I like peeled up that seal, and then there was a opening going into the engine here, but the rest of it was just like a block. So I scraped all the seal off, taped this closed, removed this. Because at this point I'm trying to get the block isolated so I can scrub it down and repaint it, but can't remove this now because, and I'll tell you in a second. But to get the actual pump off of this thing, so there's a screw here, screw here, screw here, like an Allen key. And my thought process was, man, I'm just gonna loosen these bolts from the top. There's one here, there's one here, and there's one here. Got this one off, no problem. Got this one off, no problem. But when I got back here where the oil fill hole is, like there's no, and I had used all the different kinds of like attachments to try to fit something right here. Nothing fit right here, and I ended up stripping this bolt trying to get this off. But what worked, and if you ever take one of these apart, come straight to these and just crank those open and just unscrew it from the bottom. That's going to be the easiest way to do it, but you're gonna have to have a straight up big old fat thing, bruh, big old meat stick, bruh, like this, bruh. Big Daddy. Once I got these 3 off, I'm like, oh, okay. And then when you look at videos on the internet, there's just a guy who like grabs this thing and just pulls it off. Doesn't work like that in the real world. What I had to do, because this thing was like permanently attached, is I had to, once again, get my most valuable tool, big giant flathead, and you could see where this is all bent up, but I had to shove this screwdriver up into here and then just like smoke the bottom of the screwdriver with a hammer. And after about like 20 hits, it got loose enough where I could like rip this off with all my strength. And that's where that picture of the block in the yard where I just through it after I was done. Once you remove this pump, underneath it, like up in the mechanism, was like sludge. It was gross. There's a key in there too, so you have to make sure that when you reinstall it, that key is in the correct groove. And we'll do it with the flywheel in a second when we put it back together. So got like a degreaser and like Scotch-Brite pads and just like scrub this thing as good as I could scrub it, and then hit it with that Rust-Oleum, bruh. I'm not winning an award for the paint job, but it is like better than it was. I got, before I painted it, these engine plugs. There's all different sizes, and I had to put one in the exhaust hole. there's still one in this oil fill hole. And then where the breather tube goes, right here, I put a plug there. The only one that I ended up having to stuff like a shop rag in was the intake, because there's no plug that's like that shape. So once I had this piece painted, so when I reinstalled this, I had to put a new seal. What I ended up using was, and look, here's that plug that was in the breather hole right here, perfect, was Permatex Ultra Gray gasket maker. It's used for like intake manifolds and stuff, and they have an ultra black and an ultra gray that are both rated for 500 degrees and like whatever, but gray is better than the black, and that it is designed to deal with like high vibration. And one of these is like a Chihuahua, like 50% shake. So that's why I use the gray, because I'm like, hey, this thing's gonna be shaking. That's pretty much its only job, is to shake. So put this on, made the wall, squished these bolts in, and then let it sit for an hour. And then I came back and like retorqued them to the like factory torque. I've changed these gaskets already, but I'm going to take it apart just for the sake of like taking it apart. And I don't think I did the valve lash correctly. I don't think the depth's right for the exhaust, so I'm going to redo that. I need to take off the rocker arm cover, and that looks like those are like 10 or 12. Let me see, it might be 10. Is it 10 millimeter? Yup. Dang, I hope I don't I'm probably gonna mess these gaskets up. It's fine, we're gonna make sure this thing runs, and then it's going straight to a museum. I don't want anybody to ever use it, because it's gonna be so perfect. Oh no, oil. Oh no, it's like a lot of oil. Don't do such a thing. You're supposed to be new. Oh, you know what I need? Bro, best tool I got, boy. Alright, cool. Oh man, when I flipped that thing over, it probably pushed all that oil over here. Pooh, that's all four, boy. All right, let's see what this looks like. God, this thing was filled up, son. Dang, I hate that. I hate that it was this full. Oh no, and that gasket's got oil all over it now. Oh well. Oh, this is exactly what I didn't want to happen. Oh dang. Yeah, that looks like exactly what it should have done. Thank goodness I took this thing back apart. Boy, it definitely would have blew up. Okay, so this thing is definitely not right. To get it to top dead center where these things are both loose, which obviously it can't get any looser than that. Oh man, I should have kept the flywheel on, because I would have had to turn this. Oh no. I need to put the flywheel back on for the sake of being able to crank the cylinder up and down. So, all right. So I'm gonna put the key, I'm gonna line it up right at the bottom of the threads. I think that's how it was. All right, money. Now we just gonna drop this. We're gonna line this groove up. With that, I'm gonna hit this with a little oil. All right, cool. So, we got our groove, we got our key. Now we're just gonna very gently lower this oil-soaked metal slab into its spot. Alright, it's on there. Sure look good to me. Alright, so let's put our fan back on. And this has two little holes that line up with the two screw holes that we use to remove the flywheel. We're gonna line this cup up. The spacer, it has this little like spot poking out. We're gonna put that down. So the flywheel nut is 60 foot-pounds. So we're gonna get our screwdriver, jam it into the hole. So we're gonna do it in 3 stages. We're gonna do 20, 40, 60. Let's get our extension, and let's get our 15/16. All right, there's 40. All right, cool. We're big money now. Now we can get it to top dead center with our kebab stick. So, with our wooden kebab stick, we're gonna turn the flywheel clockwise and feel the cylinder raise and So now it's going back down. Now we're coming back up. Now we're at the top. They want you to go down like just a little, that much. So yeah, these are definitely loose. The rocker arm bolt has a like Torx bit in the middle that unlocks it. And then once that's unlocked, you can basically adjust this however you want. But I've done something incorrect in a big way to make it all terrible looking like this. I'd put that thread sealant on, but I don't think it did what I wanted it to do. Here's your push rod. I'm gonna pull that out. I'm gonna get some to sit this stuff on. Let's put it on a good old-fashioned shop towel. And then this one is actually locked still. Take this push rod out, and then we're gonna have to probably hold this. Let me see what size wrench that is. But you have to hold this bolt steady while you actually unlock the Torx bit. Okay, so this is a 5/8, and this locking Torx, I think, is a T20. Yeah, it's a T20, so I'm gonna hold this steady. Then I'm gonna unlock this locking nut. And then now I can just unthread this entire piece. And then take the rocker arm off. And see, like, this one is nice. That one is tight on there, but this one is not. And I don't know why. Because yeah, this thing looks exactly the same as the other one, but like whatever is up in here is not catching the thread like it's supposed to be. See, it's like freely spinning. Why is it freely spinning?